I'm Raymond Dale Bigelow. I was from near Mattawan, Michigan, near Kalamazoo, and I did 16 years on active duty. We were in port for a couple of months in Norfolk, and then we went on, if I'm not mistaken, one of the cruises I went on anyway, right as soon as we came back, right away we turned around and we went on a North Atlantic. And so we went over to Wilhelmshaven, Germany, and we went to Portsmouth, England. And I'm not sure if that was that right after what I call my 10-day med cruise, or if that was after my first full med cruise. Well, we had our CO was a guy named Captain Batchelor. He retired as an admiral, and but Captain Batchelor told us that guys, you're going to get to demonstrate your ability to tie things down, and what happened was we were in an exercise, I guess, was combined with us and the Canadian ships and Spanish ships and British ships. And if I remember correctly, the Canadian ships went home, the Spanish ships went home, and the British ships and our small ships went around this big storm. But Captain Batchelor said, we're going through it. So we went right through it. And I never felt the carrier move around like that. And it was kind of funny to me because I was a non-rated guy, so I wasn't a supervisor, so I wasn't being held responsible for what went on. But we were in a big evolution where we were going to lay new tile down in our office. And so the day before we hit these heavy seas, I think it was the hull tech guys that came up, and they used like welding equipment and with like cutting torches, and because they actually weld the filing cabinets and stuff and the desks right to the deck. And but because we were changing the tile out, they were taking those welds and breaking everything loose, and then they would grind them all flat before we lay new tile. Well, we went back, we knocked off ship's work, and we went back the next morning after we hit all this rough seas, and we went in there, and the office looked like it was, went through a drug bust or something, and there was typewriters thrown everywhere and stuff like that. And luckily, they all still worked, so we didn't have to, do work without our equipment, but it looked like a real mess. All I could do was kind of giggle inside, but I'm sure it wasn't funny to whoever was in charge. When we went to Portsmouth and Wilhelmshaven, and both were fun. I remember the people in Germany were amazing to us, and I was so impressed with how clean everything were, and the delivery trucks and things like that. I mean, they were Mercedes, so it was like, it was different, completely different, but it was kind of a fun experience. And then going to England was fun because, they spoke, our language, sorta. You still had to try to understand them a little close because they use different phraseologies and things like that. I remember getting on and off the train, they would be saying like "mind the gap" instead of like "watch your step" or something. So, and there was a lot of they used the word "bloody" in front of a lot of terms or whatever. I didn't quite understand what that one was, but it was interesting. It was fun to go overseas. And then when I went home after that, my pa asked me, because he was, like I told you, he was in the service, yeah. So he went across on the Queen Mary during the war, and so he was a a shellback. So every time I would come home, my dad would, the first thing he would ask me was, "Are you a shellback yet, or are you still one of those slimy pollywogs?" You know. So I couldn't wait to, when I finally did become a shellback, I couldn't wait to go home and tell my dad I'm a shellback.